Hello and welcome along to another episode and another season from this FM22 One Club story from Hemel Hempstead Town with me, Daniel. It's part 89 of the Tudor Times today, and we are back to start our second Premier League season and our 11th season of this long-term story. It's not been a spectacular summer, although there are some potential big deals that could go through before the end of the summer. However, we have got a better squad than we had last year, and so far we've already got about 2/3 of the deadwood out the club. So we start against Norwich, a game really we've got to be competing in. Then in the next four we face 3 of the top 7, as well as relegated Brighton in the Carabao Cup. So if you're looking forward to seeing how we can start in this Premier League campaign, then please do put a thumbs up on the video and subscribe down below for daily FM22 content. We had deadline day in our head coach series yesterday, and we've got a cup final tomorrow. So do come along and check that one out if you can. But we are in a brilliant position financially. We, of course, had our stadium updates last time. We talked about our summer plans and had a look at English football. But what we really want to do this year is push on to a new level. And by that, I mean stay in the Premier League with a comfortable number of points, rather than last year with 35, where we were desperately hoping other teams didn't get results. If you want to stay up to date with anything else though, there's links in the eye above. That includes the football podcast and the Twitch channel too. You can support the show as a channel member down below if you wish to, but thank you as always for your incredible support as we head straight in to the news from the summer transfer window, which, to be honest, is unspectacular, but very important, and it could get spectacular just yet. Because if we go and have a look at what's been going on, we have managed to get a lot of players that we're not that keen on out of the club. We've had a couple of offers where we've had to let people go, which ideally we wouldn't. And we've got potentially some very big players coming in and some pretty average ones going out. So in terms of potential ins, you can already see we've got a goalkeeper in there, a small fee for a backup keeper, a very good young centre-half, which continues to aid towards the back three I keep talking about. We're just waiting for the scout report on this guy before confirming the deal. And then we've also got one from China who we're probably not going to be able to bring in because unfortunately he's not able to get the work permit yet. And to pay him that amount of money and that wage when we've not got a work permit confirmed seems a little bit off, when he could be playing football elsewhere too. So he'll probably get left till January. But for now, there's 3 potential big players coming in. Possibly Josh Berry going out on loan, but it depends on what happens with the other centre-halves. Let's look at the history though, for that's already been done, because there's some big news here at Hemel Hempstead Town. So back to the end of last season first, before the turnover. Only really 3 bits of news, all on the outs front. So for £1 million plus a slight sell-on, we managed to sell Daniel Georgie to Reading. Didn't really feature the second half of last season, had 1 year left on his contract, had a release clause, so actually to sell him for slightly less and get a sell on almost worked out better for us. We loaned out Jason Dolner, one of the young strikers, to Notts County. They got relegated to League 2 I think, but he will have a good season there, and he's got big potential, so we'll see if he can reach it. And Jamie McKenzie, bit of a disaster really, wasn't it? 170 grand off to St Johnstone, we made an 80 grand loss, it just didn't work out. So unfortunately he's left the club, and you'll see why it was so easy to replace him in a moment. Because if we skip ahead to this season, only 3 ins, no money spent. Obviously the big deals are the ones that might get done towards the end. But don't be fooled, because a couple of those are very good players. Let's start with the outs though, which is Adam Doyle going on a free to Shamrock Rovers at the end of his contract. He did contribute for us in the Championship, we have to be fair to him. Played 28 league games for the club, was a solid addition. Just didn't really kick on and become that top class player, so we had to let him go. One of our young academy keepers has gone on loan to Sutton. I'm sure he'll do alright there. Tommy Samuels has gone on loan to Bradford City. He's starting in League 1. Made his big comeback from injury last year. Went to the National League with Bromley. It's his last chance really to show that he can be good enough in the future. Bilal Jesus Garcia, £1.6 million. He's gone to Philadelphia Union for. It's a pretty good deal for a player that's not going to make Prem level. If we'd still been a Championship club, then perhaps, but someone we signed for 13 grand and sold for 1.6 million. I think we can complain, considering he didn't play a league game for us. We've got to be pleased with that business. Joe Wilson, the young winger we got on a free a couple of years ago, just didn't get any closer to the first team. So he's been sold 650 grand plus a slight sell-on for Millwall. Jon Burrows has gone to Cambridge on loan, 62 grand in total. players we've tried to sell these ones, but we've just not been able to. So in the end, we got them off the wage bill. He's going to play for Cambridge lower down the pyramid. Tommy Howes has gone to Notts County to join Dolner, who went on loan earlier in the summer. He's a young winger who was out on loan at Aldershot last year and did all right. It's actually worth a bit of money, so I'll be interested to see how much he develops. Lloyd O'Connell is another youngster who's gone to non-league. He's from our academy. Glyn Brown Guthrie, another one it just didn't work out. Came in for free last summer, spent a loan spell over at Bromley in non-league and has now gone to Motherwell for 170,000. But to be fair, it's a slight profit for a player that we got on a free last summer. No complaints. Adam Bichelle has joined him there. He's gone on loan for £86,000 and his wages being covered. Scored 2 in 2 in the Scottish Premiership, so maybe it can be his season to shine. And then the one we couldn't refuse was Zach Geacock. He basically came and begged to be sold, because once Arsenal's interest came in, he's going to be a backup player there, but he's getting 35 grand a week to sit as their third choice keeper. And I don't know if that's the magic number this year, because we saw that in the head coach with Boyce Clark. It does seem to be a little bit of a loophole for money earnings, but I couldn't begrudge him the opportunity because that's set him for life. He has been a wonderful servant for this football club. 183 appearances. We all remember that Championship playoff semi-final. It was one of the greatest goalkeeping performances I've ever seen. He played a few games in the Premier League. He played from League 2 upwards. He joined us for 35 grand. And he will be a club legend forevermore. Him and David Gregory just sit on a pedestal of the goalkeepers that we've had at this club. And when the opportunity came to earn a living at Arsenal, get massive money and sit on the bench, I couldn't turn it down. It wouldn't have been fair. So I'm thinking with my heart a little bit on that front. But let's look at the 3 that have come in, because I'm quite excited about a couple of them. They're not the end of our summer work. We're going to sign some players for money before the end of the window. But they are players, particularly in the first and last one, who improved the team. And one of the things we mentioned about in the summer when we were doing our end of season review is we want to improve the squad behind the scenes. And Lancashire and Thornhill both do that. Marco Cordes, though, is going to be a first 11 player. He joins from Porto on a free agent deal. It was agreed ages ago, right at the start of February. We actually talked about him in our transfer deadline day special in January. 3-star ability, 4-star potential. Tons and tons of caps for Portugal's under-21s. Special technical ability, great flair. He's a proper number 10. And hopefully gives us a bit of excitement going forward. Maybe a better finisher than Kamari Doyle. Maybe a bit more polished than Terry Clark. And with Doyle trying to force his way out, it seemed the perfect deal. And look at the money he's worth already. So it seems to be a sensible one. It seems to be one that will make a profit in the future. Paul Thornhill was an easy one. We were going to sell Jamie McKenzie, so just bought him back as a backup left back. He's not very good. He'll probably only be a 1 year and then get sold. But it was an easy, cheap deal to do early in the window and just meant one position we didn't have to worry about. And then Will Lancashire came in because we've got some problems up front. Last season, our 4th choice was basically between Dolner and Boschel. We then had O'Connor as 3rd choice, who's throwing his toys out the pram, as indicated he wants to leave on a free next summer. So when Lancashire became available for nothing, and with his attribute profile and the type of player he is, I just saw an opportunity I couldn't refuse, to be honest. He comes in from Cardiff, where he scored goals before. He's a 2.5-star ability, 26-year-old striker. He doesn't look much, but look at his key attributes, and that's what stands out to me. As a poacher and an advanced forward, he's perfect, and he's not got an all-round game. So, as a backup to Jones, as a backup to last January signing McNeil, I think he's the perfect man. Great composure, great anticipation. Off the ball movement is super. His technique, his touch, his finish and his acceleration are all on point. Don't be surprised if he nicks a few goals off the bench. He scored 1 in 3 for Cardiff and actually last season 3 in 2 starts. The year before that when he was at Bristol Rovers in League 1, he was scoring 1 in 3. So every time he stepped up a level, he still scored at the same rate. And I think we can make him a good little career here. Another one that's not worth a huge amount of money. Not a big fancy star. But we keep talking about improving the squad. This man does just that. Gives us a better bench. Gives us a better rotation option when someone's injured. And that's what we have to do in 2 or 3 other places as well. Which is why we were looking at the 2 players we have done. So certainly not spectacular, but in the right direction. And we do have to face that a bit of our summer work is going to be later each year now, because we've got to get people off the books first, and we've got to wait till players basically don't get the interest they want from the clubs they want, and then we're their second option and can start to convince them. That's the position we're in. The dynamics, though, at the moment are looking pretty good. Kamari Doyle wants to leave. Too many promises broken because he rejected a new deal on big money. Leo Hubert wants to go, but we've not had an offer for the fee we agreed between each other. So let's have a look at the squad as it stands at the moment. We have got a problem in goal, which is one goalkeeper fit and one injured with G-Cock gone. So the number 3 there is going to be essential. Harry Thornley is out for the rest of the month. I was actually hoping to loan him and then keep Josh Berry, but with the injury, I can't do that yet. Max Taylor wants to force his way out, but not been able to get him sold yet, despite playing well in the Premier League last year. And Kamari Doyle wants to go, but can't find a club, so that could be problematic. But what we have got overall is a stronger squad than last year. We've added another one in this top half that's 3-star ability or above. We've also reduced the amount that have got 2-star ability at the bottom who are filling the squad. So I think we're in a better place. We've got a slightly smaller group to work with. And that first season promotion to the Premier League, you always have that mix of your Premier League squad that you're trying to put together and the few that are sort of left over from the Championship. And with an under-23 side now, does give us a bit more flexibility to keep people fit too, particularly the younger ones. So I'm really happy with that. And I've got to talk about tactics now because we have trained another tactic. We're going to start with our diamond as always. There's no shocks on that. However, if we go and have a look at tactic number 2, we're also training this because I want to see what we can do with a back 3. Now we've got players who are good enough to be the wide centre halves who can carry the ball forward. Now we've got 2 quality strikers who can carry their weight up there. And now we've got 3 midfielders where we can select and we've always got quality. And with Egan going, who was that natural holding midfielder, without the real natural number 10 that some of them were, does give us a little more flexibility on that front. So we'll wait and see if we get to use that this year. Might experiment with it in the cups, might do it at under 23 level, might do it in friendlies. But for now, we're going to stick with our usual diamond. If we have a look at the Premier League preview, you will not be surprised to learn that we are expected to finish bottom again. However, you can see how much stronger we've got. Instead of being 2,000 to 1, only 1,000 to 1. We're twice as good as last year, according to the media. And the clubs that have come up, Bournemouth, Burnley and Norwich, maybe slightly weaker than the ones that were here last year, according to the media. So that gives us hope. I'd like my chances of finishing above those 3. But we're going to have to be at our best to do so. And that is something that we haven't shown in pre-season. So if we have a look at the schedule, we've played a lot of average sides and not done great. We struggled to beat Broomhill in the Lowland League. We struggled at home to Duisburg. We drew away to MK Dons. We drew at home to Granada. And Rangers battered us. So when we've stepped up the level of opposition, even to Championship level and above, we've really struggled to get results. Let's get ahead to the season though. I came back here 2 days early because we had this offer regarding a Chinese midfielder. He's a super young player, but I can't justify it when he's not got a work permit. So we're going to have to cancel it. We'll come back when we get some good news because in 120 days time, as we approach the January window, he should have played a few more games for China, developed a bit more. Hopefully he'll still be willing to join us. So that one is one that got away. Let's get to the opening day of the season though and see if we can get a first result against Norwich City. Well, it's almost turning into a transfer special this. We're back on game day, but not for the game because we've got an offer for Kamari Doyle equaling about 3.5 million. I'm going to try and edge this up very slightly with a sell-on clause. If it doesn't work, we'll just accept the offer. Well, they rejected the sell-on clause. They rejected offers that got up to 4 or so million, but we have managed to squeak it up a few $100,000 to 3.7 in total. Extra 200 grand up front, extra 100 over the next couple of years. So Charlton may well be signing Kamari Doyle. It's a shame to lose him because he did alright for us last year and his scoring rate's great, but he wants to go. He's not going to sign a new deal for next summer. We're going to make a tenfold profit yet again. And we've got good replacements in Cordes from Porto. One more transfer news pre-game. Predrag Neskovic, the new backup goalkeeper, the replacement for Zach G-Cock, will be coming in. He joins the club and will be available for the Norwich match. So good news. Deadline day is going to be big if this is anything to go by. Kickoff comes next. Fitness test time for the opening day. Only Louis Bennett Sharif a doubt. We're on TV in an opening day relegation 6-pointer. And with Norwich, one of those 3 sides, we've got to be aiming to be above. this game becomes absolutely massive. Don't forget we finished with a 8-game winless run at the end of last season. We are not in good form. So let's see the 11 that the assistant has picked, put ours together, and we'll run through the lineup in a sec. Right then, it's a fairly familiar side, but some of the things that we've mentioned were going to happen have. And there are some things where we've had to be a bit more cautious. So, John Moore is in goal, as you would expect as always. We've got Ryan Young and Albie Arm in the fullbacks, Hannifan and O'Brien at centre-half. Bernal, of course, was signed in January as the replacement for Scott Egan and will continue to be so at the start of this year. Flores and Moreira in the middle. Moreira's going to become a star. I've got so much faith in him. Might even change duties as we go along. Maybe a playmaker of sorts. But for now, going to stick with centre midfielder on support. Cordes, the only debutant from the start in the number 10 role. And then Jones and McNeil up front. Can McNeil, with a full pre-season, become a superstar this year? That's what we'll be hoping for. The man who joined earlier today, Neskovic, is on the bench. Will Lancashire could make a debut off there too. Lots to look forward to today. And it's a really decent squad. It just comes down to confidence and whether we can get a positive start. If we can, this is one of those games we can win. And come the end of the season, it might be crucial that we do. So let me know in the comments how you think we'll get on, where we're going to finish this year, and whether we can get a result in this one. And the hosts today, Norwich City, managed by Darren Setchell, have some decent players. Luca Romero, Vashara and Bradley Fink's always a problem up front. Not too many originals actually. Angus Gunn's on the bench. But it is quite a young side. It's a side that's been regenerated. And obviously it's one that's fresh to the Premier League. So we're arguably the more experienced side here. Norwich, no sign of Mateus and the players that we'd signed there before. Most of them have actually moved on now, as we've seen. And we've got Harry Thornley back. Otherwise he might have featured. So through the tunnel interview we go. It's a big game to start the season. If you lose ones like this, it could have a knock-on effect. Hopefully we can get some form of positive result. As we're back in the first minute with German Moreira in midfield. Plays up to McNeil on the left side, who reduced it to Armin. Back to Moreira and McNeil again, through to Cordes. Where's his extra quality going to show? Flores to McNeil, it's brilliant football. Oh, great save. It's a wonderful move though. And if that's anything to go by, it's going to be a good old season this. We moved it at pace. There were players who are comfortable on the ball. Cordes, Moreira, even McNeil's a better player on the ball than the poachers we've had before. But we haven't quite got that confidence in front of goal. And what about defensively? Oh, it's so bad, but we get away with it. For now, anyway. Romero back to Gutierrez again. The danger's still not cleared. Into Fink, good save from Moore. Don't know how the first one stayed out, to be honest. But it's a corner kick. Both sides have had a great chance now. Outswinging corner from Norwich City. Vasharan puts it in. Headed away from O'Brien. We did mention about the potential for not having stay on your feet on, for getting the players to make challenges. But I don't know if it's the right decision. We'll probably decide halfway through this one, as Halliwell gives it to Mackie. Down the right he goes. Armin does well with it. Can we keep the ball now, or is it going to be panic? It's the latter. Straight to Cretons on the left for Norwich. Playing across your own goal is a disaster. McBride. Oh, I've just got a bad feeling about this. It's been such a long highlight and Moore makes the save, but it's awful, awful risks. Not strong enough. It falls for Bradley Fink. Where the defenders were reacting as well, I don't know. But that isn't good enough. And it's all Norwich again. Jones intercepts on the right. We need a quick reaction because with the confidence brittle, we cannot afford to go 2 down. Moreira to Cordes. Show me that quality. Good play on the ball. Back to Moreira. Support from Bernal and McNeil. It's dropped in to find Cordes. Back to Flores. Not the best ball. Goes back to his centre-half, O'Brien again. And here's Flores. Got space to run down the right. There's men making a run into the box. Back to Young. Delivers in. Back post is Ricky J. Jones. You can always rely on Ricky. I'm going to go to the tactics board here. And I'm going to make a tweak. And the only change is going to be that we're not going to stay on our feet. I'm going to let the lads make challenges. And I'm going to let them get yellow cards. Because we've got to close down. It's happened again. That latest scores there, you can go back a few seconds and see. It changed to 2-1. It said Romero 17th minute. I saw it. I had to make a clip when it happened on Twitch because people thought I was going insane. But it is still 1-1. And I hope that's not a sign of things to come as Bernal finds Moreira. Into Flores. Goes wide left. Does he know? He dallies on it. Makubu makes the challenge. Moreira gets it again though to Flores, and we do look a lot more confident on the ball as Jones finds Cordes. What a introduction that is. What an introduction. Mauro Cordes comes in. Kamari Doyle didn't do that too often. You absolute superstar. Might be a club legend already. Love it. As it's played out from the back with Norwich, with Mackie on the right. Down the line to Luca Romero, who plays back to his fullback. We're keeping him at bay at the minute. I'm not seeing any signs of the challenges, to be honest. It looks exactly the same. Visharan plays through to Fink. It's too easy. Moore's got to save it. Hanifan makes a block. Brilliant work. And it's a goal kick. He's done well to get one out of that. Again, no more. Producing the clanger on camera. But at half-time, we lead 2-1. We've seen an absolute moment of genius from our new Portuguese number 10. And Ricky J. Jones doing what he always does. What a half of football. I've got a smile back on my face, but we have to cling on. As McBride goes wide straight from the kickoff. Never a good sign. Cretton's down the left to Visharan. Ryan Young's closing in, but it's back to McBride. And Chiba. I don't want to speak too soon, but you could argue that making the tackles has worked. We're not seeing any evidence of the tackles, but we've gone from 1-0 down to 2-1 up. Might just be luck as Fink's in. Near post keeper. Cover your near post, seriously. 2-2 from the kickoff. It's so frustrating when you see all that hard work undone. I don't think we're going to win this, are we? Because we're just so brittle defensively. We've got 2 good centre-halves in now, but it's not making a difference. Let's just demand a bit more from the lads, because we've got to get something. They've not even reacted well to that, to be honest. So with just over 20 to go, I'm going to make some changes. German Moreira is going to be replaced in the middle because Leo Huber's a bit more of a ball buster. He makes a challenge. I'm going to bring Lancashire on for a debut in place of McNeil. Give him a chance to be a hero too. And I want to bring Terry Clark on for Cordes, but I'm going to leave that 5 more minutes and we'll try and get a reaction after. We're going to encourage the boys. We've got something more positive out of that. We're 10 to go. Time for heroics. Cordes, brilliant impact in his first game in English football. But Terry Clark, you can be a hero here, son. 10 minutes to go, and it's Norwich on the attack with Mackie. Luca Romero to Hewison. And I know we'd be disappointed to draw now, but we cannot lose. As Hewison into Fink, who heads wide. He's making our centre-halves look like babies, honestly. And with 5 to go, it's an okay point away at one of our relegation rivals if we get it. But we're back in stoppage time with a big hoof downfield. It looked like panic stations from John Moore. And Norwich fly down the right. Mackie switches it. What on earth's Young doing? The fullback has just completely left his man. And Moore makes the save. We've now got a Norwich corner in the 93rd minute. Don't set the tone for the season. Fink's up, he heads just wide. And in the end, after being ahead at half-time, we're delighted with a point because we could have lost this game 2 or 3 times over in the second period. It's been all Norwich. But we're going to get a point. We've got a moment of magic from the new signing. If we can add 1 or 2 more, maybe we can just start to pick up some wins. But a draw away at one of the relegation rivals is a better start than it could have been. And we've avoided the disaster. So 1 point on the board. We need a couple more players. Let's have a look at the schedule for when we're next going to be back. Well, we're not going to have to wait long to see the side in action again. We're going to come back for transfer deadline day. I'm almost tempted to show the international break in the Spurs home game because I think it's a better chance of getting a result, albeit not a good one. So if you did enjoy this episode, some transfer action as we came live during the episode, and of course a point against Norwich in an exciting game, then please do put a thumbs up on the video. Let me know what you thought of Mauro Cordes, what an impact he made on his debut. And he looks like Ricky is going to be the man we rely on again. If you want to stay up to date and see if we avoid second season syndrome or whether it will be a bridge too far, then please do subscribe down below and turn that notification bell on. It's cup final time in the head coach tomorrow, so please do come and check that one out too. I'll put yesterday's episode in the eye above. And there's also links up there to the Twitch channel for regular live streams and the football podcast for loads of content. But above my head now, I'm going to put the 10-year bookmark. If you missed it last time out, please do check it out. And I'll see you here next time. Thanks for watching. Deadline day next.